So, our band of adventurers, the Talaria, have recently arrived to the pirate city of Mari Libere on the Isle of Moa. Your journey had taken you several weeks to go from Port Honor, past a coral shield, and to this small secluded island protected from the Third Fleet. Upon arriving there and being allowed access by the dockmasters, you quickly brought the crew of the Algos aboard to the Wanderer's Retreat for them to rest, while you went in search of any of the Crow's Nest captains that were here. After a bit of exploration through New Haven, heading through up northwards, you headed up to the Crow's Nest, where Captain Horace and Captain Iridan Von Ren were both there. What proceeded then was a lot of catching up on what had happened among each other. Horace and Iridan had explained that they were searching for this mysterious ship that got stolen from Port Embar, hoping to potentially find an ally, but instead running into the Third Fleet and forcing them to abandon that plan, with Camilla taking a longer route to avoid risk of capture. In return, you explain the situation of why you are here, with the Galero merchant basically blackmailing one of your other crews into taking him to Mari Libere. Recognizing the risk, a plan was beginning to form, with, at the very least, one of the vessels heading over to the Isle of Yanton to meet with this merchant, and hopefully either drive them away or strike a more appealing deal. Of the ships that you had at your disposal, it was decided that Iridan would go with his vessel, the Stabbed Rat, being the fastest ship in potentially the entire area. Iridan explained that it'll take roughly about 3 days for him to get his ship repaired from the damage that he had suffered, but was on board with the plan. And as you all collectively leave the Crow's Nest, concluding with your discussion, that is where we left off. If I recall, we were all very scatterbrained that day.
Yep, that is where we left off. Obviously, we have, This is now gonna be kind of the waiting game, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
So we have like 3 days of whatever anyone wants to do. Obviously, we have to like update Bali, I imagine we do. But Havelock needs to go meet Iridan in order to discuss how the Stabbed Rat works and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And also in that conversation, Horace said that he would look into Brad's person.
Arj's missing friend.
Yes. Well, I think he said that she was dead. That she was killed, like targeted, because he thinks it's because she was Moen. So. Yeah. Okay.
Murder me.
All right. So, I suppose this is like, what do we do in our off time?
Yeah, basically, you've got 3 days of downtime in the city. Obviously, as mentioned, Havelock will need to take some time to have Iridan show show him through the stabbed rats. But all in all, world's your oyster. Oh, island's your oyster.
Alright. So, what do you guys want to do? Do you have any plans? Intents?
Unless Mev makes a point of like saying Arjun should do anything by himself, he's primarily following her like a lost dog. She literally said like, "Don't get far from me. Let me do the talking. Like, this is a pirate. Like, this is a fucking Moan island. I am a Moan." And he was like, "Okay."
Yeah. They're very, like, they're not exactly outsider friendly, so.
Okay, but I love that he's just taking a Pavlov's position of lost puppy.
I think, if that is the case, I think Mev would definitely realize this after a little bit. Not sure how far in they get, but she's probably going to turn to Arjun and be like, "You know, I know that I said that you had to stick by me, but you can suggest places you want to go if you're interested in anything here."
He looks off to the side. There's a lot of here that I don't know if I would be interested in it or not. I think for the most part. The only thing I really want is a history lesson.
History lesson. All right. About the island, about our people. What are you looking for?
And you know,
Okay. She thinks about that. Because it's obviously a decently long history. You know, Arjun, are you from Karmora?
he shakes his head.
Where are you from?
There is our.
She nods, because before he had been kind of vague about that he just, like, he kind of sailed around Erazar is what he said. But yeah, she nods. Then you probably don't know that in the last 100 years or so, there was a rather big civil war in Karmora.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Tom, you will have to help me with this part. Why specifically was the Civil War struck?
So the Civil War wasn't 100 years ago, it was about 50 years ago, but it lasted for about 20
the
years.
start of the thing was like 100 years ago, so 50 years ago was...
Yeah, so 100 years ago the Republic formed, and then as they expanded, they came into conflict with Arazar, starting the Arazar conflict, as Karmorakians call it. The Republic was losing the war simply because their ships were much slower and meant for, like, you know, heavy naval combat, whereas Arazar's ships were much more nimble. So what happened is basically someone as a spokesperson for a bunch of merchants offered their services to have their ships basically be used as a second fleet. And this worked with the war basically turning into a ceasefire and then eventually a peace treaty. However, many ships in the Second Fleet, I should say, continue to essentially do piracy, attacking supply ships and everything. And when ordered to stop, they refused and escaped, with the merchant who then became admiral of the Second Fleet being either, it depends on who you ask, the Moans say he was executed, Karmora say he was imprisoned. But that's really what kicked off the Civil War. It was essentially trying to quell this piracy, which sort of ballooned outward. It then...
That's what Horace was talking a lot about that last session.
Yeah. And then with that, it was starting to go and call mod in the favor of the Republic, until an individual known as the Pirate King appeared, who...
Okay, I remember this part.
Yeah, who brought all of the... basically brought all of the at the time, pirates, they became Moans, under his sphere of influence. He led them to the Isle of Moa. They struck out against the Republic, began making sizable gains, until they basically attempted a single ending fight, which was the Day of Sea, in which the entirety of the Moan fleet and the entirety of the new Third Fleet clashed, which resulted in the Moans losing. And basically for the past 30 years, the Moans have just been keeping themselves secluded, doing their regular piracy, and the Third Fleet has been constantly patrolling the seas, trying to stamp out the... At this point to them, it's still a rebellion.
Yeah. Okay, then Mev will obviously explain all of that stuff, but at the end of it, because she knows kind of how it sounds of the rebellion of Moans and everything, she will say, at this point, you know, the Republic still thinks that it's a rebellion of sorts. She gestures around to basically this town, this big community. She tells Arjun, it doesn't like that anymore for us. This is our home, our community, our culture. There are people born here that have never fought against the Republic. This is just their lives. This is my life.
See. Thank you for the history lesson. And he smiles a bit. Your life is an interesting one.
In a good way?
Of course.
She smiles, nods. Now, if you want to hear anything specific about, like, places here or something, you might need to ask other people.
He crosses his arms. He looks like he's thinking, and then he just says, I already have Horace working on that for me. I wanted to know the ins and outs of what I was probably going to be hearing from him should he find anyone. So that I knew what they were talking about before they had to explain even more to me, for me to just understand who it was they were even discussing. But with that largely said and done, I'm stuck waiting too.
Are you...
I suppose... Sorry, go ahead.
Are you okay with that? I mean, you have a little bit of time to do what you can, search what you can. Leaving it in someone else's hands. Are you comfortable?
It's not about being comfortable or not. It's about time. I've been at this for a very long time. I
No kidding.
am used to needing to handle my patients.
How old are you, Arjun? Because when you were talking about that woman, you said this has been going on for quite some time.
I need to go get the exact number. Hang on.
Didn't he say
I
something
think I
like
know it off the
30
top of my
years
head.
or something?
Yep.
Yeah.
When she asks him how old he is, he nods a little bit like he was expecting that question. He says, I'm 67.
Wow. You're older than I thought. She re-examines him, and is it more apparent, like, if he's actually elven? Because she was assuming that he was like a half elf.
He definitely isn't fully elven,
Okay.
but if you had to guess, it's probably something to the equivalent of like a 3/4 thing, rather than just a full half one, half the other.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, she looks him over. You're not quite the half elf, are you?
I'm not quite an elf either.
What are you then?
My father was elven, my mother was a half elf. It
And the quarter?
skews things a little. He nods. Excuse me.
She... Yeah, she nods. No wonder. I mean, you look very half-elvish. Thought you were
I'm aware.
older, but not that old. And she nods.
I apologize if that throws you off any.
Why would it?
You're much younger than me.
I think I'm like a quarter of your age, yeah. Probably less.
He snorts.
But no, it doesn't really deter me. Well, I've slept with all types, and particularly with anything of elven design, you're expecting them to be much older. Did you fucking calculate that, Nate? That's so funny.
Yes, he did.
That's so funny. Okay. Freaking. Well, if you change your mind about not wanting to wait, she thinks about this for a moment. How long would it take for us to get to the village of Moa?
Not that far. It's actually relatively close, maybe about 20 minutes.
Okay, so yeah, that's
Wow.
very close. Yeah, she gestures over, like, kind of in the direction where the village of Moa is. The original village is maybe half an hour away. We can ask there if anyone's familiar.
What about you? This doesn't cut into anything that you're doing?
I really can't do anything right now. We've told Bali the ship is going to be prepared. I'm basically going to be either sitting on my hands or meeting a bunch of people who are going to ask a lot of fucking questions that I already answered and don't want to again. It's either that or go home. She gestures to Wanderer's Rest. Whatever the fuck that's
He
called.
looks like he
Wanderer's
had a
Retreat. Whatever.
question for her, but it looks like she answered it already. When he, like, listens and he nods. If that's the case, then it seems like my business is a welcome distraction, wouldn't you say?
Admittedly, yes. But I also just want to help you.
I hope you realize that I appreciate that very much. You don't owe me anything.
You don't owe me anything. She
He
smiles.
smiles.
Yeah.
One of those momentary, like, we smile at the same time things.
Yeah, that's... Oh god, that's cute.
Then maybe we should
Alright.
go to the village of Moa then.
Alright. To the village it is. And obviously we can sideswipe to other people, like, before we do this and see if they want to do anything. But she will basically explain to you that the village of Moa is, like... Whereas Mari Libere is where kind of new Moans live. Like, you know, anyone that engages in piracy in the first place. The village of Moa are the like original inhabitants of the island. They were not part of the rebels. And they basically offered sanctuary to the rebels as thanks to the pirate king, the figurehead that you heard about before, because he protected the village.
I see.
At this point, the village of Moa only has about 3 families in it of, like, the original members, because most of the original Moans have integrated with the rebels.
I see.
And they've basically become, like, homogenous.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's actually really cool. I like that.
She will also basically tell you that, like, your coin's going to be useless there. They do things in, like, by trade of things that they need. Gold has no worth there. So, yeah.
Let's see. Does anyone want us to sidestep over to them?
Well, Havelock has Iridan, but obviously if Havelock has anything else that they want to do.
Yeah. It's also as well, like, if the players would like anything.
Yep.
I don't
Scale of
believe Havelock would be
abilities.
doing much, except for getting this task done first.
fighting, so we'll see what he says.
Kinlan says,
Tom, do you have... Do you have notable figures for the village of Moa? Because we have the Miri family, but I don't have any specific people.
Let me just well, I'll just have a quick look. Oh, there we go. Killian's just... Killian would have probably asked Mare for any location she'd think he would like, also asking about where to go for learning.
Oh, yeah. She would instruct you to go to, freaking... Let me just search through this real quick to see if there's anything in particular that she thinks you would be interested in. So she thinks you would probably be interested in, if you're looking for like weaponry and stuff, probably Corsair's Arsenal. If you are looking for kind of... she'd actually mentioned this with the stuff with your knife and your book and everything. You might be interested in the Hag's Boon or Curse. Because she will tell you there's like a fucking hag that lives there that will enchant your shit. But she'll warn that obviously this person might fuck with you. Yeah, it could. She could curse you. So obviously, if you would like that, that is good. And if you want to specifically learn anything, she is going to point you to the School of Maritime Tactics. You can learn basically it's kind of a general school, but if you want to learn about the history of Moa, how to sail, naval tactics, just things like that to make you more proficient in like sailor combat, going to the School of Maritime Tactics is a very good idea. I think... Yep. I think that those are the ones that she would share, like, specifically with you that you might be interested in. So. Alright.
Didn't have anything for the Village Mirror Park, just quickly put an entry at the very bottom.
Thank you.
And Anna, you said that outside of the thing with Iridan, you've got nothing?
Yeah, Havok's main priority right now is getting through that.
Okay. You know what? Let's go with that one then.
Ooh.
Why the hell not? So, at some point during the days, you head to where the jet streams reside. You sort of like knock on the door, it opens, and you can see a dark olive-skinned goblin. Definitely shorter than any goblins you've seen, which not many outside of fur, and a very like wiry build. His large ears you can see dotted with several earrings. His left one to the point where the ears actually sort of drooping a bit with the weight. He's wearing a silk jacket with creamy baggy pants, and he looks like he's in the process of like attaching a sash around his waist. But he just over says, "All right, mister."
Hey, I'm here to learn the ins and outs of the ship.
Ah, you're the new one, aren't you?
That I am.
All right. Hey, Iridan. So like just leans back, and just yells into the room itself. A few minutes later, Iridan comes to the door, shirtless with his rapier just in his hand, and he's just sort of like, "Oh, hey, Havelock. Wasn't expecting you."
Havelock
I
sort
love
of
this
raises
man.
an eyebrow and leans on the door frame, expecting something else.
Nah.
Maybe?
Oh, what this? Nah. Just playing about with my sword. Practicing with my sword. Have to make sure I'm ready for things go south. What's up?
You here for work?
All right. He just sort of like steps to the side, just sort of like re-puts on the sword belt and such. Just sort of like runs his hand through his hair. Just turns around to the goblin. We'll be like an hour or two. Can you get everyone else to show up so we can introduce them to the crew proper? Sure. All right. Come on then. He just sort of heads off in the direction towards Tail's Salvation.
Havelock's gonna follow along, have a nice little look around as he does.
He does see you looking around. It's like, so this place so new to you, or just never been around it much?
Never been around it much. Mostly raised out at sea.
All right. Should give it a look around. Nice place, if I say so myself.
Yeah, good place to practice with your sword.
I'm serious when I say I was practicing.
Can I insight him?
Sure.
13?
Seems to be telling the truth.
Alright. Whatever you say. Guy's gotta do what he's gotta do.
Yeah, you know, when the need to make use of it arises, I'll be ready. But, serious note, if you are looking for places to explore, you can just ask around. Ask me. I've, been a few years here.
Alright. So, after work is done, where would you suggest?
Depends on what you're looking for. If you want a drink, well, we got plenty. I like to go to the Serenade just because of Izzy, but, there's the Marauder's Mirage. It's pretty good. Actually, pretty popular with free pirates, too. Mostly because, you don't start fighting there.
Alright.
Like, I don't even say this in a ha-ha funny way. Like, you do not start a fight in there.
Is it really a night of drinking if you're not starting a fight somewhere?
Look, Seraphina makes the rules in there, and she makes it clear. No fighting. You do that, you're all out on your ass. Beyond that, you're looking for new kind of clothes. Vagabond's Vestments is a pretty good spot. It's very much like he sort of like begins to you like show him, but seeing that he isn't wearing a shirt, he's like he just points to a random individual that's in typical Moan attire. If you like that kind of stuff, then that's a pretty good one. You want if you're one of the more superstitious type, Hag's Boon or Curse, you can get a potentially a good luck charm or a bad luck charm if she doesn't like what you say. What
As
else?
he's talking, Havelock's just like shimmying his shirt off and shoving it in his bag. He's gonna keep on his jacket, of course. But no, it's less awkward.
If you need some healing, or if you want to have a bit of a good time, Pharaoh can probably get you some. Nice guy? Yeah, guy. But, doesn't quite get a lot of the stuff. And it can be a bit risk-reward. Make sure you... If you're gonna try anything weird from him, make sure you got someone that knows some healing. You're gonna regret it otherwise, if it goes wrong.
What was that blood that Havelock drank at one point? That was Giant's blood, right?
Troll's blood.
Troll's blood.
Troll's blood.
Mev still has all of those bottles. Not all of them. She has potions now, but
Is it worse than troll blood?
Well... yeah. Pharaoh's stuff has killed people.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. If you know a lot about mushrooms, you'll be fine, but if you don't, make sure you got a healer somewhere that can, you know, make sure you don't die from the poison.
Fucking Havelock's brain is just like, possible die. Go get the fungus. Alright.
I see. So, eventually he leads you to the stabbed rats. Still in the midst of being repaired, but you're allowed onto the ship itself. And for the next few hours, Iridan sort of walks you through the ship in general. The thing you realize is there's a lot more rigging that needs to be done. You sort of look and see that the ship's got many masts with many, many sails. He sort of like just points to him and says, and this is our biggest defense, speed. Absolute priority that we make sure that the rigging is doing its job. Because if we slow down, we are fucked. Because we only got 8 cannons. So it's a bit of a concern what we're doing, but that's why I'm hoping that we can do this without having to fire a shot, because we will not win that at all. Anyway, that's basically the rundown of the ship. Is similar to other ships, it's just a lot more rigging that needs to be involved. I'll take care of the crew that we need to get. Got a few of the lads here still. Sure, they won't mind if I twist it a bit and tell them that the entire fate of the island... Well, technically that. I'll just tell them that the fate of the island depends on it. They'll want to jump in. Whether that's true or not, I'm not going to dwell on it. But, sort of like looks up at the sky. You want food? Some drink? Before we head back, or would you rather just head back?
Let's go get drunk.
Alright, let's go to the captain's quarters. So, like, just casually opens the door and just beckons you in. The captain quarters is actually rather cramped. But there's at the very least enough space for you to sort of just sit down at a table. He sort of like reaches down, pulls out a bottle, and just pops out the corks and slides the entire bottle towards you. And so, like, rummages around, you just hear him mutter under his breath, like, pulls out a small box. He's just like, a bit sheepishly, like, pulls out what's clearly just some dried out rations. I got to do the restocking. You still want this? You still want this, or would you rather? Yeah, I'll put it. He just puts it back in and closes it.
Hey. Havelock's gonna reach out, putting a hand on his arm. It's alright.
Alright. Just opens it again, just hands you a dried out ration, takes one for himself. Just up, bites into it. Do you sort of like, eat in silence for a while before he goes? So, I'm curious. What made you decide to become a code follower? Or to go from a free para to a code follower?
Havelock's just gonna take another bite before he speaks. You could say I fell in love with the rules.
Yeah. It's just interesting, you know. Your pop's crew had a reputation that made it seem like nobody would ever come over to our side. Yet, here you are, his own flesh and blood. The least likely, if I'm honest, no offense. And to turn a new leaf, and not only did you want to be a code follower, but you killed your dad to do it.
Metal.
Someone has to take down a guy that bad. You're fucked, you can't live on top of the world forever. It's gonna fall eventually.
Yeah. I know he probably doesn't want me to, but I want to apologize on behalf of Horace, you know, for how he acted.
Thanks.
I mean,
I'll make sure not to tell him.
yeah, I'd rather not. Don't think he'd like me speaking for him. I don't think it was unreasonable to be cautious. I mean, let's face it, your dad is one of the most notorious pirates around. One of the only ones that the Third Fleet actually had a concern with. I think he's also a bit jealous because he was only just barely a concern for the fleet. That and the stories, you know. We've heard tales of your dad throwing human captives overboard when he intended to take sanctuary here rather than let them be free, or after ransacking a ship, setting it on fire and sailing away, leaving the passengers to burn. Don't think I can blame him for not trusting the guy.
I mean, if you want to know anything, I got at least 19, 20 years of experience with it.
Maybe not now. But look, what I'm saying is, I get that people are gonna be cautious around you. You're going uphill battle, but look, I'm willing to do what I can alongside Murph to turn things around for you here. Because I've been in that situation. Not to your level, but I've been in that situation.
A drink to new leaves, to better sailing. And he's gonna take out the jug, fill it full of Hold on, I have to pull up the jug. Alright, he's gonna take a drink and then pass it over.
And he takes a swig of it as well, and just slams it down. Ah,
Salt water.
what was that, Anna?
The alchemy jug, it is full of salt water this time.
Ah. So he just chugged a bunch of salt water, yeah?
Correct.
Yeah, so he just kind of like sits there. It's almost like he's processing what's happened. You see his face just slowly starts to scrunch up. You're a dick. He sort of leans over and starts dry heaving.
Havelock's gonna take another big swig of the water. What, you don't like drinking seawater?
Ugh. No. No, as a matter of fact, I don't.
You know, I could have made it worse.
Oh, well,
Do you have any idea what this thing can make?
No! No, I don't.
I could have made it vinegar. I could have had you drinking mayonnaise. I don't know how it conjures up mayonnaise, but God, it can make a lot of mayonnaise. It can also do acid.
Not the fun kind, right?
No.
So you had me until it wasn't the fun kind.
I'm sure we could find the fun kind somewhere.
Well, I know a fun guy that knows it.
You want to go visit the fun guy?
Sure, let's see Pharaoh. So, like, stands up, just beckons towards the exit.
From the actual bottle that he had opened of alcohol, Havelock's gonna clean his palate with a swig and then follow.
Alrighty. Make a dexterity saving throw for me.
14?
Ooh, that's a fail. As you're walking, you stumble and nearly go face first onto the ground. You're just able to, like, stop yourself. You sort of, like, look down and you can see that you're, some of your pants are down by your knees. Oh, you all right there?
Not pantsed.
You look like you took a bit of a fall there.
Hold on, I have to think for a second. Is Havelock actually wearing underwear today? How bad is his reaction?
I don't know what it is. There we go.
He's got underwear today. Dude, what the fuck?
Hey, that makes us even. Besides,
He's gonna.
you didn't
pull
believe
his-
me when I said I could do that with magic. You can just see that his fingers are crackling with arcane energy.
I'm gonna get you back. One of these days.
So long as it's not when we're at sea dealing with this problem.
Oh, of course, of course. That'd be horrible.
Yeah, rather not have bad shit happen when we've got bigger shit to deal with. After that, I guess that means war. Let's see what Pharaoh's got going for him. He just sort of heads down the gangplank.
guys, he did it. Havelock made a friend.
Alrighty. So let's take another side step then over to kindling. So, is there anything that you're doing kindling? Kindling goes to school. Okay. So you head over to the School of Maritime Tactics. I need to scroll up myself on the document. Man, there's a lot in here. Why did I do this to myself? There we go. So what you can see is a large two-story building made of, I'm going to mispronounce, even though I put it in myself, I put it in so long ago I've forgotten the pronunciation. Stucco walls? Stucco? Stucco? It's kind of like a almost like a solid creamyish white wall. You know what I mean? Good. Because let's face it, I probably butchered the pronunciation even with all the variants, because it's me. There's not a lot of activity around it. You can see outside of obviously the regular passers-by, but you can clearly see like some people in the small windows are overlooking this sort of main intersection where it sits on. From what you can see, the main door is open for you to go in if you'd like to. Okay. So you head into a nicely furnished sort of like lobby area almost. Several like benches here and there. There's sort of just a single individual that's sort of standing there, sort of walking about. He looks to be a human with his hair tied into a ponytail. You can clearly see on the side of his hip a longsword with his hand on the hilt of it. He's just sort of like walking around, and as he sort of sees you come in, it's like, "Oh, hello there." That it is. School of Maritime Tactics. You're here for a lesson? Here to read up, or... Depends what you're looking for. Could be an assortment of classes we could do. Basic introduction, knot tying, sort of loading and firing cannons. All the maintenance though, but could at least learn how to fire them. Make sure you do them in proper order. Or is there a particular topic you're looking at? History of Moa.
Arjun just asks Mev, kindling. No.
I will go to school. I mean, yeah, it's easy enough to have a class about the history of Moa. Wouldn't take more than 3 days. Well, yeah, no, it would take about a few hours probably. Take several days if we went to every intricate little detail, but 3 days. No offense, you don't look like the kind of person that wants all the intricate little details. Yeah. So basic rundown. Yeah, there's sort of like heads over to a small sort of like cubby hole, which he sort of like reaches in. So like you see, just sort of like blindly is grabbing around before he pulls out a journal. So like flips it open. About hour or so. Any folks asking, it's got a basically a retelling of the Moan people. And that's by Falga. He's the headmaster here. Alrighty, closes it, just sort of like tosses it back into the cubby hole. I mean, by all means, just feel free to have a walk around. Just don't bother anyone that's teaching. That's all we ask. Okie dokie. So you have a wander around. A lot of the classrooms are a mixture of like, you know, your traditional classrooms and more sort of like just sort of there in sort of like wide open areas. You do see like people of various ages and races being taught. There doesn't appear to be any sort of like year assignment. You see like kids with teenagers with adults and such. It seems to be that the way it's run is just there's a topic and anyone that wants in can be there regardless of who they are or how old they are. Alrighty. Because I'll probably end up doing a lot of talking on that part. How about we take another side step over, going back to Arjun and Mev.
I think the talking will not really help, but
comparatively.
Yep. Okay.
It also just allows things to be mixed up a little bit. You know how it is.
All right.
Yeah, basically, because talking about the history and such would take a while if it's, you know, said in detail unless we hand away. But regardless. So, the two of you have made your way northwestward. Have to mentally get my orientation. You do point out to Arjun the Freedom Shrine and Cemetery, since it's on the way. But you continue back through the jungle. You do notice several more of the little lookout areas.
Mm-hmm. Mev definitely is like waving to them. No one ever waves back, but she always acknowledges them.
Yep. So, you sort of just wave by. Eventually, you come to a clearing. At the edge of the clearing, you can see several ruined buildings. Clearly, at this point, long reclaimed to nature. Being houses of former residents who moved to Mari Libere itself.
Mhm.
It's a collection of about 4 huts and a few larger buildings, all somewhat haphazardly in a circle. In the middle is sort of like a gathering area, a mixture of like stone blocks or logs surrounding a fire pit. Currently, the fire pit is not lit at the moment.
Mhm.
You can see a few individuals sort of working around the place. You see 2 individuals sort of working on repairing one of the huts. One of them you can see is Oran Moa.
Mhm.
As he's just currently holding in place a support beam as someone else is just sort of tying rope around it to secure it.
Do you guys need a hand?
Oran turns around to look, he's like, yes, if you could.
Yep, Mev will come over to assist them.
So he sort of like moves aside, he's like, wait, keep this held in place. And you just so like as you hold in place, like picks up another support beam and sort of like places it next to it and just holds it. Wait, the other one too. The person at the top is just like quickly works to secure the 2 beams. Just sort of like gives it a shove to make sure it's secure. It's like he sits back like, right. Just sort of nods, and just turns to look towards you. Oran, you can see, is a dark-skinned human, with rather bright green eyes. He has a black beard, that's well kept, though a little bit grimy. You can see most of the top of his hair is gone, just sort of, got the bit around the sides remaining. He's wearing what is clearly sort of like worn blue silk pants. It's currently shirtless, but you can see sort of like hung up is a large colourful jacket that know he usually wears when he's not in the midst of work. He just sort of like, just rubs the dirt off his hands like, thank you, miss. Thank you.
Of course. She steps back from the support beam once it's all secured. She smiles. I am Mevaler Gatlin. I'm from up in Mari Libere.
He just sort of gives a deep bow. An honor for your presence, Miss Gatlin.
And then she gestures to Arjun. And then this is my friend Arjun. He is new to the island.
He gives he still bows, but it's just sort of more like a head bob.
Yep.
An honor to meet you as well, Mr. Arjun.
Is Brad alive? I want to make sure.
Sorry, my mic was muted for a moment.
Whoops.
Whoopsie doodle.
Yeah, Arjun nods and says thank you.
She looks around. It looks like you guys are currently in the midst of repairs. Do you need more assistance?
I would not say no to help in repairing. The recent storm that came through, rain was particularly fierce. Nothing serious, but, repairs are important.
And she nods. I would absolutely love to help you. She looks at Arjun to see, like, if he would be interested in that.
Yeah, he nods. He's already shirking some of like his like layers so that he can probably like get into like a laborer's position.
Do you mind if we work and talk?
Of course, I would have it no other way. Especially you, Mr. Arjun. Come, I'd like to hear your stories.
Mev smiles. She will go ahead and get to work. She's gonna remain fairly quiet so that Arjun can like talk and get his stuff out.
So, Mev, you're sort of like directed to Helmo with the support thing. So Uran sort of pushes Arjun towards helping him. And like you find Arjun, you find yourself sort of like working on sort of tying up some thatched roofing. And so as you're sort of working, he's just like, "So, Mr. Arjun, tell me, where are you from?"
I'm from Arizar.
Arizar! Ooh, far distance away, yes. Any good stories there?
Oh, plenty. There's always something to talk about over there.
Well, we got plenty of time, my friend. By all means, share.
There's a few moments where he basically explains that for the most part he was he grew up in Taziri. And across from there, like, there was basically like a little, like, it wasn't exactly a port, but it was kind of like a smuggling point, and a lot of people went in and out, and there was a lot of bits and pieces of like different kinds of people that lived there, people that did anything in that location. Marketeers, freebooters, stuff like that. But he talks about how, like, one time there was a big hubbub about someone who ended up kind of bringing in a Hajar stone.
A Hajar stone. What's this Hajar stone?
I guess that wouldn't be common knowledge. He he traces out a gesture in the air to like make like a kind of a diamond shape. He says it's a black, grainy object. Stone. It's got a red gemstone embedded in the middle. If you ever come across one, ever see one, if someone ever tries to give you one, do not take it.
Oh my
Do not
god.
touch it. Do not get involved with it whatsoever.
Sound advice, my friend. Very sound advice.
They are cursed. No one has ever gotten. Yeah.
Sorry. I have personal experience.
Very, very good to know. Continue. How about this Hajar stone?
For the most part, it was something that was essentially bringing ill fortune on everybody around it, and it started trading hands, started getting tossed around every which way, lost and found. It was over the course of several months, it ended up... One would think that the curse itself involved propagating itself, finding the hands of people who would want it for some reason. people who would actually guard it against those who would see it disposed of, etc. And it was a trying time for everyone, but eventually it was found out, it was set aside, and it was brought back to where it belongs.
Amazing
It's the
that.
kind of thing that. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
It's amazing what a small stone can do.
You have no idea, or maybe you do. I don't know what it's like there on Moa.
We do have the occasional cursed things. The various other tribes within this little island. Some like to make use of it, some don't. Was not our business. We are simply, well, we were humble fishermen. And various other things. It's, our identity's kind of been vanishing in the few years, but it's a way of things.
Seems there are a lot of things in the world better left alone.
This stone, there are more like it. I hope that they never surface. And if they surface, I hope they don't surface here.
I think it's unlikely. I am glad to have let you know. The more people know whether to steer clear, the better.
Yes. Last thing I would want is someone to take it as some sort of fancy jewelry and, I don't know, grow extra tentacles around their head or something.
He nods. Arjun was keeping it relatively vague for a reason, but he nods.
But still, what brings you here, my friend?
I've been seeking information. Information that I might only find here, I think.
Well, you have given me a few tales to hear, so I'm more than happy to return the favor best I can, of course.
It's a bit of a crumb trail, I'll admit. I knew someone once. A woman. Just over 30 years ago, we were spending a lot of time together. She brought me out of a difficult position. She was hunted down. She's gone now. I believe it was because she was Moen. Her name was Estelle Lavora. Does that name reach you at all?
He sort of like stops tying and sort of like leans back. Just thinks. There are many families here once, but Lavore is not one of them. I feel if your friend was Moen, she wasn't. She was one of Mari Libere, not one from here. But I hope at the very least that narrows it down a bit.
It does.
Do you know what your friend looked like? Oh, what a silly thing to say. You've been with her. What did she look like? See if maybe I can recall. If maybe she did what you're doing now.
Arjun describes her as an elven woman with dark hair, very aquiline features, very, she had a handful of scars, very noticeable ones, and she was relatively thin, but not enough so that it was considerably like weak looking by any means. She's just happened to have a lot of like smaller features, like fewer curves and stuff like that, which is kind of indicative. Like elves tend to be like that anyway.
You sort of seem deep in thought. Was
Sorry.
she kind of like acted a bit like a big sister, yeah?
He nods. Very much so.
He sort of like stands up, just stretches. One moment. So like heads off to the larger of the huts. After a few minutes, he comes back with a few rolls of parchment. I'm sorry, this will probably not answer your question, but like rolls open the parchment, starts reading it. This is from my father. Had a young girl come to help out today after the storm had knocked down our storage house. Predominantly helped raise the spirits of those around her, and helped basically motivate us to keep working and keep going. Here we are, called herself Estelle. So she was here, my friend, but not as one of us.
You see this look of like wonder almost come across Arjun's face. He looks at the like journal entry, he listens to the words. When Estelle's name is actually dropped, you see like a look of almost like melancholy mixed with excitement come across his face. And he like whispers to himself like, she was here. She was here. And he nods. He puts a hand on this man's shoulder and says, thank you. This means a tremendous amount to me.
Just sort of like smiles and nods a few times. If you would like, I can rewrite this on something so you can read it, see what my father thought of her during that day.
I would appreciate that.
Okay, yes. But when we're done fixing all this...
Of course.
I'm not about to
No rest for the
slacker.
wicked.
No, not at all, not at all. He quickly heads back into the hut, just quickly places it just to the side a bit. It's like, so, well, that's a good break. Miss Catlin, how are you doing?
Oh, we're doing great over here. Stretches a little bit.
I can see it. Looks like you've got most of it done. Very good, very good. Why don't you take a break? Me and Arjun will keep working, huh?
No, I think I'd rather just finish it up. She smiles.
As you wish, miss, as you wish. I'll make sure that we get some water and some food ready, though. He just sort of like claps his hands, and all the people nearby sort of like walks up. He just sort of like, so you doing anything right now? No, sir. Right, good. You get us some water and some food for us not working. We're nearly done. Oh, don't look so meek, my friend. He just sort of like claps the guy on the back and just sort of like pushes him on his way. Right, so Roof, yes, that's what we were working on, yes. And so for the next hour or so, you finish repairing the hut. German comes back with essentially a pot full of water with a few cups. And what looks to be like some cooked like bird creature. You're not too sure of because plucked and cooked, but just like sits down. Oran sits down with everyone else, like, so drink, eat, my friends. Oh, that was a lot of work. What?
Oh no, I'm sorry. I was blowing my nose.
Archie, you don't need to apologize for blowing your nose. We all do it.
Oh my god. Mev is definitely going to partake in the food. She seems excited about it.
Yeah. It tastes nice. Not particularly super seasoned given what they have, but it's got a kick. It's got a kick to it. Like he just like grabs a cup, just dunks it into the pot, and just sort of drinks from the cup. I do appreciate it, both of you, for this.
Glad we could help.
It was my pleasure.
I think I was getting an echo there when Peach spoke. I don't know who it was coming from there. He's fine.
Hello? It's gone. All right.
It's gone.
All right,
It's gone.
cool.
Yeah, that was just weird. That's just her in her voice.
Yeah, I think Mev.
No, there's the echo again.
There it is.
It's coming from Brad.
Yeah, it's on Brad's side. Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with that.
I think Mev is just. She's still quite quiet. It seems like she's enjoying not having to really be the talker right now.
Yeah, which Oran is more than happy to take center stage on this one.
Yeah, if he wants to talk our ear off, then Mev will like gladly let him. She's like eating and smiling the whole time, nodding, just letting this guy, be friendly.
Yeah. Oran is sort of like going through various tales. Pretty much every conversation piece that sort of like when he talks about the past, he seems to just break out into a story immediately. A lot of them are happy, some of them are a bit more somber. Like one of the questions just raised is about the dilapidated houses. He's just like, that was the how many of these? There were 5 families, and that used to be the 5th family's house. The well, towards they were called the Vistor family, but I believe they changed their name when they left. Decided to head into Mari Libere. Their son visits on occasion.
Who's their son?
Vishnu is his name.
Do I recognize this name?
You probably might have seen him a few times when you were younger, but as he was around a teenager by the time you were sort of at the age where you could remember and stuff. And he kind of drifted away onto his own thing. So you definitely recall him, but only a few years after he sort of went off and did his own thing and didn't hang around the usual spots.
So he's not really part of like the big ongoings. It's just like he's kind of there.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. With nods, like she definitely recognizes that name. I haven't seen him around in a while. Have you?
About a few weeks ago. Just came by to say hi. Few helping out here and there, swapping a few trinkets here and there.
Mm-hmm.
But he's keeping to him. He's got his own life now. I believe.
She nods.
Haven't seen the parents in a while, but maybe it's age, maybe they died. I don't know.
Do you ever go up there?
To Mari Libere?
Mm-hmm.
On occasion, I sometimes what's they called? Crow's nest. Your crow's nest. They come to me and ask if any of us are willing to help in exchange for various things. Construction supplies, your flavored foods and such. Sometimes they just ask when they're saying hello. Sometimes they say, oh, we're working on this. And I usually go, well, why didn't you tell me? I'll be there as soon as I can.
She smiles. Then you probably met my mom.
Oh, yeah, name's eluding me, sorry. Camilla?
Camilla.
Camilla, yes, lovely lady.
Yeah, she just brightens. She looks around at the dilapidated buildings and she asks him, you know, these could be repaired. People could move back down here. I imagine at some point Mari Libere has to grow, or we need to create new villages. Obviously, I'm not saying we should intrude, but why haven't you kept up with them?
For the most part, no, there's no need. Most of us have moved on. The other part is to remind us that though the memories fade, they were still here with us. And other ways that if they do wish to come back and they want to do their old house, well, they have to show that they want to stay, huh?
Have to do the work.
I mean, I'll help, of course. We all are family here. We always help out. But if they choose, then, I mean, if anything, it's a good way to get back in touch with where they once were. I mean, the same thing as well if, say, somebody comes by and says, hey, that house, I want to live there. Of course, welcome to the village. I'll help you out. Let's get to work on this, huh?
If you have written text, I'm sure that we would be interested in learning about the original heritage of Moa.
So it looks a bit somber at that mention. Unfortunately, that was many years ago, long before your king showed up. We didn't do a lot of bookkeeping back then. It is mostly through, it's an oral tradition of our past before your friend showed. He showed us how to write, how to read. Well, how to write and read how he did. That's when our records began. Though we still have tales of our past before. Really should write that down, though, I suppose.
If you do, I would be interested in both reading and hearing it.
The one I can give now, the one you will have to wait a while.
Then please, go ahead, share.
Alrighty. So I'll ask the question, not in the case of avoidance, but just in the case of if we need a break or not. Would you like the roleplay of the backstory of Moa?
I think I am good with just hearing it from you. Both because I know, like, we have to get back to other people. Like, Kinley's going to be learning some stuff. It's a lot of lore drops right now.
Yeah. Okay, if that's the case, then I can say the stuff now, and then go on to breaks. I'm also aware of, like, we're usually at the point where we take a break.
Yep.
Uran gives a basic story. Well, it describes it as a story, but a retelling based on generations past. He talks about how initially there were numerous tribes on the Isle of Moa, and as they grew, as they do, there was conflict until eventually a sort of equilibrium began to form between the various tribes, where one couldn't really overthrow the other. He talked about the names of the tribes back then had been lost to time, so he more focuses on predominantly what they were about. For example, he talked about the dwarven tribe of the north, who held the northern tip of the island. He talks about how the what he calls the hunters, a more nomadic tribe that simply wanders around, often the ones getting into conflict the most, given their disbelief of territory, given their nomadic heritage.
Mm-hmm.
He talked about the sea elves that had made their home on the western side of the island before they seemingly vanished. It's not in immense detail of the other tribes. He focuses predominantly on his tribe, how they were simply predominantly fishermen, before gradually moving further inland due to, at the time, hostilities with the Sea Elf tribe. He talks about how... Go on.
Just a quick thing.
Yes.
How is Arjun looking when he hears about the Sea Elf tribe, like on the other fucking side of the island?
He looks genuinely curious.
Okay.
It looks like he's not like chomping at the bit or anything like that.
Okay.
It looks more like he's it looks like he's already kind of like gauged this situation and like who they're talking to, and now he's kind of just like coasting through the remainder of it, because it's not like it's obvious that he's gotten what he wants necessarily, but he looks like he's just enjoying the moment rather than looking for something.
Okay. There's just a slight moment where Mev like looks at him like she is clicking a couple of things, and then she looks away.
Oran goes on to talk about how while they still went to the coast to fishing, they sort of began building up essentially like a farmstead of sorts. And around that point, was when the Pirate King had arrived. Before he actually led the rebels here. Talked about how the Pirate King had spent time with them, working with them, teaching them how to write and to read in his language. And over the years, eventually, Oron, at this point, Oron sort of like is saying like, of course, this was the time of my grandfather, so I wasn't around then still, but I do know from his writings and such. He talks about how eventually the Pirate King had asked a favor of the village to basically bring in some lost souls, to which Oron's grandfather had agreed. And about a year or so later was when the rebels had made landfall. At that point, it's like, and I mean, at that point, that is where your history begins. Not you personally, but the people of Mari Libere, the Numoans.
I am a Numoan.
That is a telling of what the Isle of Mar was like before you all made it what it is today. Of course, don't know, it's probably taught to you all as well, but there was, of course, trying to negotiate with the other tribes. Your Pirate King did try to negotiate with others, but they all said no. To be honest,
Do you think they're still out there?
Oh, absolutely. They are. They have changed, but they are still out there. If I'm honest, I feel that's the reason why your Pirate King gave his protection to us. Because I don't think they're very happy with us.
She nods. Have you suffered any attacks recently?
No, thankfully. I think if I had to hazard a guess, they know that if they attacked us, we could simply flee to Mari Libere. And if the people of Mari Libere found out, their tribes would cease to exist. They're not stupid. They are aware of the might that you hold.
She looks down at her food and just eats a little bit. It doesn't seem like she has a lot to say to that. She's just thinking.
But that is... That would be an interesting thing to write down about the history. It's a good suggestion. I will definitely take it on board.
She smiles at him. Next time I'm on the island, I will come check in. See if there's anything else I can fix and see your progress.
I am not a fast writer. You may be disappointed.
Take your time.
Alrighty. So, as the conversation just sort of goes into small talk, we'll take a 10-minute break.
Woohoo!
Okay.
Yay!
Now I can yell at why, for whatever reason, my goddamn music ain't working. I know why. It's because it's a Karmora session. It's always because it's a Karmora session.
Yep, there's always technical difficulties.
You know, I'm gonna rather than the town playlist. I'm just gonna go to the good old faithful peaceful playlist.
There are so many things that we say that I want on shirts. Like
That's one of
I
them.
want, yes, I want. It's not a Karmora session without technical difficulties. You know,
Mhm.
it's a revenant. Yeah, I want that one too. I want that one on a shirt too. Fuck it.
Just like the what's that one meme called where it's like two guys who are looking at the camera just pointing at something behind them.
I'm not sure I know.
I don't know what the meme's actually called, but it's like that with text. It might be the Soy Jack meme.
Fucking.
One sec.
But yeah, there's so many things that I want on a fucking shirt. Like with Frevels, I wanted the that one. I wanted the bird funeral meme on a shirt, like really, really badly. Because that shit, I think it's my favorite fucking meme to come out of Frevels. It's so funny. And then I want like the ending, like the session closeout lines on a shirt.
We did it.
Yes. Okay, but like I imagine the "We Did It" shirt, right? We did it, and then in like the style of Anna's "Weh" meme. So there's just someone like flopped down dead on the ground. That, yeah,
It's fucking iconic.
yeah. That's what I'm thinking for the "We Did It" shirt.
I'm still looking for the image that I know I fucking posted so goddamn long ago.
I think that's what we're gonna call it is also really good, but like maybe if it was like a Nat 1 on the shirt.
And that was like, that's what we're gonna call it.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking.
Listen, honey.
By the way, I'm ready to continue, but I'm very, 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 very congested. So I might not actually participate for the rest.
I mean, that's fine because we are sidestepping back to have like kindling.
Yeah, we can do their stuff and then maybe call it.
If that's how you want to do it, then that's how we can do it.
Well, I imagine it'll be like another hour of content. So
Yeah, content.
because you'll be lore dropping and stuff. And Tom, we trust. Holy shit!
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that one time where the sun was with my old webcam, where it was like, just the sun made it look like I was.
Yeah.
That's. I forget. Was that like part of the reason why, like with campaign 1, we went with God's headache? Because it's like, oh my god, he's like a god. Now he's a head.
Yes, that is actually. And it's like, Jesus fucking Christ, you're blinding me, Tom.
Yeah, there you go, Brad. You got some lore. Damn, so pale I reflect light.
Dude, even looking at this picture hurts my eyes in a good way.
I cannot control where the sun goes.
I also just need the Karmora like DM shirt. I don't know whether to call it the lucky shirt, but
You mean the one with the illusion shirt?
yes, the illusion shirt.
I'm pretty sure they're sold in places. Although it's funny that you mention it, I'm wearing that shirt right now.
Yeah,
None of us can see it.
it's iconic.
It's another part of where it's like, oh, come around tentacles, because there is a bit where it's like I can hear or see. And it's like, oh, if you set it to video, then realistically you should be able to see me, but it doesn't seem to work.
See, the thing is with the the audio video stuff.
Yeah.
It is affected by if others can hear or see you. Which I think is super, super stupid. So, because I found that out when I was in a game for a short time that, like, you had to have a webcam. I fucking hate games where you have to have a webcam. But, yeah, if you toggle on, like, others can see or hear video, then you'll be able to see other people's video most of the time.
I think that actually might be a way to trick that. The VTuber Studio thing that I use has the ability to create a virtual webcam. And I know that one of the it can link to the virtual one, I believe. Oh yeah, no. Oh, virtual cam.
Fucking.
VTuber
So let
Studio
me
cam.
see if I just.
Fucking Nate, do you want old cursed image?
I am very well aware, Nate, of Ninja Sanji. I ain't going for them.
All right. Are we ready?
Yep. The all the sound playlists have broken, so you might have occasions of silence.
Hello?
Hello?
Oh shit. Hold.
Hello.
Oh. Hello again.
Hello.
Hi.
I was
Oh my god, that's ancient. It's an ancient meme.
I was gonna say, it's like, it looks like the playlists are breaking.
Yeah, fucking I just fucking died for a minute.
Well, I guess I'll just manually have to click on the tracks, because then they were and never mind, I spoke too soon.
Woohoo!
Is it telling us to stop?
No, I refuse. Not yet. Not yet. Okay.
I was just thinking that. Alright.
I am
Go ahead.
Not yet. Anyway. So I guess who of the two of you have lock and kindling? Who wants to go next on their little escapade?
I'm hurting. I designate Nate.
Well, looks like it's you, Nate. So, you spent time wandering around the School of Maritime Tactics until eventually you hear, like, doors opening as people begin to sort of as they begin to walk out and start either leaving the building or heading to other rooms. The gentleman that had greeted you in the lobby sort of finds you, is just like, if you head down the corridor here, take a left, that'll be it. Oh shit, I didn't actually make a description for Falga. That's another one I missed. Yeah, that's fine. So, this is one of the more open areas. There's various cushions for people to sit down. Decent handful of people arrive. You see a few kids, you see a couple of adults. They sort of arrange themselves by themselves, with the shortest in the front. So you'll sort of like sit down near the back, near what looks to be like a Lockston and what looks to be like a rather burly human. But as people sort of like settling down, a individual sort of walks by and just sort of stands in front of the class. This is a tiefling. Sort of a deep blue in color. Not deep blue in color, deep purple in color. His horns go sort of like head just straight up like an elk's. He's wearing a light blue jacket with a deep blue sash, as he's just sort of standing there with a book in his hand, just sort of looks at everybody. He's like, "Is this everyone? Good. Welcome to the School of Maritime Tactics. I am Falga, the headmaster, and this is a history of Mari Libere, and of course, our time and our origin." I see there's a couple of new people here. Welcome. Glad you're interested. Now, he just sort of like grabs a stool and sits down on it. The first thing that you should know about Mari Libere is that it wasn't like this once. Hells, we weren't even around here once upon a time. We were rebels, fighting against essentially a republic that threw us away. We had fought for the republic against Iridan. We had put many of our ships on the front lines, even though we weren't military people. We took great sacrifice and made new tactics, some which are still taught in the Republic today. And then they stabbed us in the back. They decided that we weren't useful for them anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You right there, Brad?
No, it's just it sucks.
So we continued doing what it is that we did. Merely getting our dues, that's all. Of course, the Republic would tell you that we were simply not obeying their orders, engaging in piracy. And so they took our leader. Killed him. They'll tell you they imprisoned him, but they don't treat Moans like that. They never did. And so the war began. Initially, we had a bit of an advantage, given the fact that their first fleet was still very slow. So we copied a bit from Iridan. If any of you are from Iridan, thank you, and also apologies for what we did to you. There's a bit of a murmur as you hear him say that. Now, the unfortunate problem there was leadership. Our leader had been killed. We had no means to really organize. In fact, one of our only and dumbest plans was trying to make a base of operations on the Isle of Lexis. Could you imagine that? Setting up a base clear across from Port Embar, the capital. And so we began to lose. Our disorganization was our downfall, nearly. And that is when he came. A man who never told us who he actually was, who we called the Pirate King. He took us under his wing. He navigated the Coral Shield, something which not even the best sailors would want to do. And he brought us here. Well, not here specifically, the village of Mo, which I recommend everyone visit if they want to know more about the origin, though do not bug them. They are well respected and they are protected by us. You do anything bad there, you will not be coming back here. And he's like looking at everyone sternly. He brought us to the village and then eventually set the foundations to what would become Mari Libere. Did not have a name at the time, but we made it our home. He organized us, trained us, clearly a man who knew his stuff militarily. More were brought into the fray as we began to strike back against the Republic. There was the attack on Port Honor. There was the raid of Port Mar. There was even the raid on Embar. All of which inflicted hefty damage, to the point where the Pirate King had decided, with the strength that we had and the damage that we have done, he would make a risky move, but one that arguably was necessary, since we could not keep up the pace. We would sail every combat-capable ship that we had towards Embar. We would lay siege to it, and we would draw out what remains of their fleets. We would defeat them. We would cause the Republic to surrender. After that, who knows? There was many people that wanted various things. Some of us simply wanted to be recognized as our own nation. Others wanted to take over Karmora. Others simply wanted revenge. But there was an oversight. History repeated itself. During the Arazar conflict, the First Fleet was struggling, so we came forth and became the Second Fleet. Now, as we were setting sail, and the First Fleet was again struggling, the Third Fleet was formed. A fleet whose entire purpose was not the protection of Karmora from Arazar, or Jurhan, or any of the other large kingdoms. No. It was for us. An entire fleet dedicated to our destruction. And it too did more unorthodox methods. Having a detachment as mages, essentially functioning as artillery cannon. Making use of transmutation spells to cause havoc to our vessels themselves. And even those that commanded the very weather to try and hinder us. This Third Fleet met us on a mountain that is in the Veshmir Sea, within sight of Port Embar itself. And there a battle commenced. The Day of Sea. We lost that battle. We didn't lose it terribly. We had lost the most important thing for us. The Pirate King's vessel was destroyed. And he was never found. The outcome of the battle was that we had done enough damage to the Third Fleet they couldn't finish us off, but they had done enough damage to us that we couldn't do the same. So we retreated, back behind the Coral Shield. Everyone that partook in that battle that was not lost at sea is now buried in Freedom Shrine, barring a handful of more long-lived members. He sort of like indicates to an elderly dwarf that's just sort of sitting there, arms crossed. If anybody wishes to pay their respects to the participants, they can do so at the Freedom Shrine. You will treat that place with respect as well. Like the village of Moa, it is sacred to us. Throughout the years, Mari Libere grew. Though we had lost our Pirate King, his teachings remained. That is one of the reasons why the School of Maritime Tactics exists, to ensure that we don't fall into the problem we had at the start of the war. As we grew, we realized that even if Karmora didn't consider us a nation, we are a nation. What we do, they might not approve of, but we are still a nation, damn it. And so we had to begin thinking like one. An actual form of governance. An actual city planning. I'm sure many of you who may be new here might have gotten lost in the back alleys. And so here we stand, 30 years from that day. We are not stronger, but we are certainly not weaker. We are in a better spot than we have been since that day. We're proud to call ourselves who we are, Moans. We are more than happy to welcome all. And one day, personally speaking on this one day, I think the world will look at us and say, ah yes, that is the nation of Moa. A city-state, at the least, but one that exists on this stage. Now, does anyone have any questions in regards to the story? Like, looks around expectantly. Yes, you there, gentleman in the back. The numbers are a bit hazy, but essentially, we had about 100 or so ships. Granted, several of them were transport ships used to bolster our numbers, but transport ships do have cannons, so the Third Fleet had less, but as I mentioned, they had more unorthodox tactics, transmutation, weather control, making use of magic. We had our own, but we didn't have the vast resources the Republic had. They had about 80 ships, give or take. I would say at the end of the fight, we'd both cut each other's by about a third. Maybe half. A few ships went missing and then came back. Of course. Anybody else? Yeah, the looks on next to you, like, raise his arm. Hey, you! Gentleman in the back next to the other gentleman. So the Pirate King never gave his name? Never. He spent his entire time with us, not saying his name whatsoever. Eventually, he just reluctantly took the name King, or Pirate King. He didn't like the idea of royalty, though. Anyone that had met him would know that he treated everybody equally. If one raised his hands. Where did he come from? Well, depends on who you ask. Some people say he came from the west. For all of us, though, and given what the village of Moa tells us, he came from Moa. Where he came before then is irrelevant, if I'm honest with you. He came and offered us salvation. He could be from the Shrouded Isles for all I care. But do people live there? Shrouded Isles? No. That's the point. Essentially, Falga answers a few more sort of questions about various details, but as time eventually goes on, people stop answering the questions like, right, well, I hope this has been informative for you, or I hope in the cases of some of our more veteran people, indicates again to the elderly dwarf, that it is a good reminder of what you did for us. I think I speak for everyone that I say we are forever thankful for this life that we have now. As said, there are places you can go for either to pay your respects or more information. The village of Moa is about a 20-minute walk from here. Please treat them with respect. That is the most important thing. Or Freedom Shrine and the cemetery, where you can speak to the various dead, or simply pay your respects to the Shrine of the King. But with that, he sort of stands up, sort of stretches a bit. I would say that this class is over. You're free to walk around, but either way, class dismissed. He just sort of steps to the side and just sort of watches as everyone just basically walks about. So anything else that you want to do, Kindling? Just imagine with that, some people are like, the law. Okay. There's a few sort of sitting rooms with various books. They're not particularly well arranged, but if you're looking for a particular book, you might be able to find it. Okay. You find a handwritten book detailing the history of the Isle of Moa based on what they're aware of, like its geography. It mentions of tribes that exist. But most of the history is focused on the development of Mari Libere. It only briefly mentions like the time before how there were how there's various tribes within the on the island, that several had either were destroyed or just vanished, and that of all the tribes, only the village of Moa seemed to welcome them in, whilst others showed hostility. But then, as I say, then it goes into focusing about the geography of the Isle of Moa and of the development of Mari Libere. In regards to books on magic, not a whole lot on it. There's like the typical like introductions to magic, but nothing specific. It's clear that some of these books were ones that they're just stolen while committing piracy. Okie dokie. If that's the case, that means we sidestep over to Anna, or Havelock, getting potentially wasted. So, you and Iridan have made your way back to the city itself. and he directs you towards almost in the direction of the New Haven district. Before eventually you come to this old tree that you'd seen when you first arrived here. As you sort of like walk by, you can see like various logs have got like various mushrooms growing in the shade. And you see sort of like a large mushroom, like maybe about 3 or 4 feet tall, sort of next to the tree, not moving. Iridan just sort of like looks at it for a few seconds, like, "Guy's probably asleep. 1 moment." So like walks up to the large mushroom, just sort of like looks at it, looks down at it, before he just like gently sort of like pushes it a few times. And you watch as the mushroom stands up. You see like 2 beady black eyes sort of appear as he opens them. The mushroom itself is sort of like a creamy white, with his cap being a sort of flat brown color. And he's sort of like, you just see like a more open up in what the stalk is as the Pharaoh yawns and just sort of like stretches like, "Oh, hi, Iridan. Hey, Pharaoh. Well, I got a new friend with me here who I want to introduce you and maybe get some stuff for you, huh? Havel, come here. Go on, bite."
Hi. Havelock's gonna take a few steps closer.
Yeah. The mushroom folk just sort of shambles slightly as he turns. He's like, "Hello, I'm called Pharaoh."
I'm called Havelock. It's nice to meet you. I
"I
heard you're the one we go to get fucked up.
If that's what you call it."
For the most part. So what you got?
I've got so like you notice as well that his movement's actually rather slow. It's just like those mushrooms there are grown and ready to be picked. Oh, he still like points to some bright white mushrooms, like, "Those need the secretements pulled out of them, but other than that, they're good." So like turns around and sort of like looks within the roots of the tree and pulls out what looks to be like a bright flat red mushroom. "These look good. I've also got the you call them potions, I believe. They don't, as you say, fuck you up, but they helped you when you are fucked up."
Okay. Tom, can I do a nature check to see if I know anything about any of the mushrooms he's been pointing out?
Sure.
I know nothing.
They are some colorful mushrooms.
Goddamn. Okay. I'm just gonna look over. What do you recommend?
I couldn't tell you. Yeah,
Alright.
Pharaoh doesn't eat mushrooms. He just grows them. He likes rotten food and animal corpses. So yeah.
Do you like bones?
Well, I can use them for growing stuff.
How about I give you all the bones that I have in exchange for a couple of those potions that'll help me when I get fucked up?
Ooh. How many bones you got?
Tom, do you remember exactly how many human remains I had picked up? Vaguely?
I feel like this is something that you should have written down in your inventory.
I remember it was a pile of human remains. I just don't remember how
Oh
many
my God.
bones there were.
Yeah,
Well, there's like over 200 bones in a human's body.
I can't help you on that one.
I will go with 9. I shall take out 9 human bones.
See,
I got these.
that's kind of what I was expecting, like from the stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, some of the more extravagant ones is like, oh, you know, Ruby's raft was full of cannibals. You're not a cannibal, right?
Look!
Unless there's a lawyer present, I am not legally allowed to answer that question.
Oh my God! You can't say no. There's a problem.
Right. Iridan looks a bit nervous now.
These aren't bones from someone that I've killed. I found them.
Less concerning.
They were dead for a long time before I found them?
A little bit less concerning. At this point, Pharaoh's sort of like just observing the bones carefully. I mean, I could give you a... Oh, when you say like get fucked up, you mean if the mushrooms do you bad? Or...
Yes.
Or... I can give you... 3 of them potions. They're easy to make, it just takes time. Bless you.
Bless. That would be wonderful. Thank you so much for your generosity.
Okay, just put the bones somewhere. I'll get the potions. So, like, heads into the little, area of the holdout tree and sort of, like, rummages around. And he pulls out, 2 baby blue colored, 3 vials with baby blue colored liquid in them.
Oh, did we lose someone?
Brad is not feeling well,
Aw.
so he went to go lay down.
Yeah. Okay.
He's been sick for like a week. It's been really bad.
Yeah. We can give him the cliff notes on. I mean, it's not doing much better anyhow. There you go. If you start feeling bad, drink one of these. It'll still suck for you, but at least you won't die.
Thank you, it's very helpful. I would like not to die, I'd like to come back.
Whoa, that's good. What mushrooms do you want then?
Sorry, I was just typing the potions in my inventory. What were the ones that you said again, Tom?
So there appears to be what looks to be a set of so like just dark brown mushrooms. Another one is a bright white mushroom with little like sort of black dots on the caps. And then there's what looks like flat like some mushrooms with a flat red top.
You know what, we'll take the white ones.
Okay, let me just drain it of its excrement. So like reaches under, and he sort of like shakes them a bit. You can see like several of the black dots, black spots are like excrete a inky black liquid. And just sort of squeeze. He just sort of like squeezes on the caps, and they just sort of pour out a bit. There we go. Just puts them in your hand.
I'm gonna take out a couple of the scraps of cloth that I have and wrap them up. It was a pleasure trading with you.
Was as well. Iridan just sort of like, yeah, no, I'll give them a try as well. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
Fuck yes. Let's go.
Can't believe you guys are doing shrooms without me. This is insulting.
You said the Marauder's Mirage is a good place to go, yeah?
Yes.
Havelock was acting in character.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I say the main rule is that you don't fight in there.
Fuck it. Want to get a room, get a couple extra drinks, do some shrooms?
Sure.
I'll pay.
Well, if you're paying, I ain't saying no.
To the Marauder's Mirage.
So, you're led to the Marauder's Mirage. Now, you walked past this before on your way to the Crow's Nest. So you find it relatively quickly. Iridan opens the door and heads in first. You can see that the inside actually has got like a vibrant colors splashed along the wall. Oftentimes the wall as well has like paintings inspired by the sea or the beauty of the island. Whereas there's others are just like, you know, a cavalcade of various colorings. You can see sort of over by the bar is a rather large red dragonborn. Her face appears to be in almost like it looks like it's in a permanent scowl as Iridan approaches and you follow shortly behind. It sort of like leans over the bar. It's like, "Hey, Seraphina, how's it going, lovely?" Seraphina just like looks over at Iridan and then looks over at you. It's like, "You're new."
I'm new and paying. Name's Havelock. How are you doing today?
Paying for what? Drinks? A place to sleep?
Yes, all of the above.
All of the above. What drink do you want?
What's your strongest?
At this point, you hear Iridan stifle a laugh. As he does, you see Seraphina just look over and glare at him. He's just like, sorry. That would be the special drink that I have. Ember Flame Rum.
All right. We'll each be having that.
Oh, okay. So yeah, you
What?
see it.
Whatever you drink.
It is really fucking spicy, Havelock, but okay. Sure. Both of us some Ember Flame run, please. You see a lip, a mouth sort of like twitch almost into a smile before she reaches down and places 2 chalices down. She puts in some rum that at this point you can sort of like smell the spices in there already. She chops up some dragon fruit, which she sprinkles into the bottom, and then a syrup sort of is put in there as she shakes it up. She sort of like pauses, looks over at Iridan, who sort of like sheepishly looks away again. And you just see that she takes a small container of what looks like red sugar and just sprinkles it around the rim before picking it up and just... You see she almost like blows on it, but you see like a lick of flame come out. And she rotates the chalice, essentially singeing the red sugar before placing them both over, leaning back, arms crossed, and just looking directly at the two of you, waiting.
Do I need to make a saving throw for this drink, Thomas?
Yes. The question is how quickly are you drinking this?
Too quickly. He wants to enjoy it.
Oh my god, Anna.
Okay.
What?
Okay, just let me say, you've never drank before. Do you know how a chaser works?
No.
No. This is sounding like a chaser. You do not stick it in your mouth and leave it there.
Alright,
You
Thomas, may
fucking
I
chug that
fix
shit.
my answer now that I have some information?
Sure.
Alright, we're doing this quick.
Okay, you just chugging it?
Yep.
Okay, that decides the DC. Go ahead and make a Constitution saving throw for me.
That's generally how you're supposed to drink drinks like that, is fast. Otherwise, you're gonna choke.
26. Jesus Christ!
Damn.
I have a 9. I'm good with full constitution.
Holy! So you just down it in one go, slam the chalice down. You sort of like just the fact that you were focusing entirely on chugging it. It takes a second for it to register. It's fucking hot. Like it's not. It like it's you struggle. You sort of like you can. Those that are looking around can sort of like see like the veins on your neck, and like the muscles in your neck like tensing and relaxing. You break out into a sweat. Your eyes start to water. Your nose begins to run. But despite all of that, you're able to keep your nerve, and you just feel it go all the way down into your stomach. And as it goes down, like that part of those parts, that the area it goes over begins to sweat and tense, and then eventually you just have like it feels like a bowl of hot soup in your stomach. Very hot soup in your stomach.
Fucking.
Ooh.
Glad I could be of assistance.
As you breathe out as well, like you feel the spices and the heat coming out. Like you also, like with some particular hefty breath, you swear you see like your breath come out despite the temperature. as you sort of like dealing with that, you sort of like wipe your eyes to sort of see, and you look over at Iridan, you can see he's sort of, his face is so red. His eyes are just streaming with tears. You can see he's just holding on to his chalice, which still has some liquid. He's propping himself up.
I'm just reaching over. I'm gonna slowly take the chalice from him, and I'm gonna finish off his.
Okay.
Oh my god.
As you do that, you just hear him go, "Thank you."
Did he just sit there, or did he try to knock it back and failed?
He have like, you still look in, you see maybe about half of it's gone.
Oh, I'm judging that, man. You should know how to drink.
So go ahead and make another Constitution save for me, Havelock. Oop.
Why did that hit twice?
I don't know, but that's a natural one. So you say like, oh, it can't be so bad. You sort of drink. It goes down the wrong way.
Die. Oh no.
Yeah. You double over as the intense heat begins to like burning your lungs themselves. You begin coughing and spluttering. Like Iridan sort of like leans over and just sort of like is patting you on the back, trying to help out. Seraphina herself actually does sort of like uncross her arms and sort of like lean forward and just looking at you very carefully. Yeah, no, you find it doesn't completely get you because you'd managed it before. But you do find yourself short of breath at that point.
Can I do 10 lay on hands to make it a little better?
Sure. You do the lay on hands, and you feel your lungs stop tensing
I think that
up
cures
a bit.
poison, so.
It's either it's you use 5 lay on hands to cure a disease, if I recall.
So, you know.
Yeah. We're getting there.
Yeah, so like you feel like your lungs will allow you to breathe again. As everyone's like, yeah, not gonna lie, I can't handle this one in very good either. Oh shit. Oh. You alright, Havelock?
Yeah, fuck, I'm just thinking who I can get to drink that next.
Hey, just get any of your friends. It'll be funny. It'd be great. Especially if any of them are a lightweight. Holy fuck.
Fucking Gratian appears from the grate with a rat on his head.
Seraphina, water, please, gods.
Havelock's just gonna shake the little jug at him. I still got water in here.
But is it salt water? Please don't let it be salt water.
Check.
It's salt water.
It's still salt water.
Seraphina, please, gods.
Seraphina.
You know, honestly, I would prefer to watch you squeal, but I suppose, since your friend here had the courage to actually down it in one go, so like pushes a tankard first to you, Havelock, before getting one for
she does not like this guy.
Iridan just downs it in one go. It's like, oh. So he downs like 3 tankards before he's like, oh, okay. Shit.
Havelock's not backing down. He slides his tankard over to him. Bird's good. Feels good.
Okay. Just downs the tankard. Just places it, just like, like all the kinds of drinks here, all the drinks here, but that one's just too fucking much for me. About a couple of minutes later, the burn eventually starts to subside a bit.
Mm.
And he just sort of leans over. It's like, so, still doing that with the shrooms?
Yeah, sure.
I
We'll take a room.
really now. Okay. Separate or single?
Single.
Just sort of takes a key from just takes a key and places it down to you.
And what's the cost for everything?
We'll put it as a gold. I got a laugh from Iridan. Yeah, sure. Happy to help lower the price like that. Oh, shit.
Havelock's gonna place down 4 platinum. I like to hear. I'll keep someone back.
You see her eyes, her eyebrows actually like raise as her scowl seems to vanish. Are you sure?
Of course.
Are you sure?
Got the hottest lady in
That's
town
so
here.
foreboding.
Not going to say no to this. You actually see she is actually smiling at this point. It's not so much put it on your tab, but when one happens, so pockets it. I see. So, the two of you head up to a somewhat small but cozy room. Iridan just sort of like sits down on the floor. Just like, okay. Whew. It feels like she put more in there than normal.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe just yours. Mine could have been a little hotter.
Probably. I know not to make any moves on her, so maybe this is... maybe it's a grudge thing that she's got on me.
Maybe she thinks you're cute. I'm sorry.
All right, come on. Let's see what these things can do.
All right, Havelock's gonna sit across from him on the floor, gonna put the little potions out in a line, bring out the mushrooms.
So, take turns or at the same time?
Same time.
All right. He just grabs one. Ready?
Let's do it.
1, 2, 3. You both bite into it. It's insanely bitter. It's it's like a mixture of lime and soap water.
So cilantro.
Maybe I've never had it, so go ahead and make another constitution saving throw for me, Havelock.
28.
Jesus Christ, Iridan. So you sort of like begin chewing on it. You realize that your jaw, that not so much like your jaw is seasoning up, but something is like sticking it together. And you sort of like, as you just sort of like, almost like you put your finger in your mouth just to check, and it pulls back these, this tar-like substance that's sort of like really sticky and stringy. you're able to just like sheer force of will and just sheer determination just keep chewing and eventually swallow it. You feel it sort of like run down, almost like a slimy texture. You look at Iridan, who's not chewing. You can see he's just sort of like, make an insight check actually.
Inside. 3.
You don't know what's going through his head right now, but all you know is that he is not currently chewing.
I wave a hand in front of his face. Hey, you good? Gonna grab onto his jaw and like try to help him open it.
Okay. Yeah, you sort of like do that. You can see like it's almost like a wall of this tar substance as this jaw opens. He's just like he's just like to like jam his fingers in and start trying to pull out the tar substance. He eventually pulls it all out and just sort of like it's stuck on his hand at this point. So like he just like wiggles his hands around to try and get it off, but it's like this is not my day. Oh. Well, why do we have to pick the one that the potion would not work for?
Listen, I don't know. Maybe you should have just stayed at home playing with your sword.
Would have been more fun. Would have. No, I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with this. I just want this off my fucking cat. He sort of like tries to pull it off in his other hand, but just gets stuck in it. I was like, this is what happens when you play the game of chance that is Pharaoh.
So his hands are sticky, right?
Yes.
I'm gonna take his hands and slap him on his pants.
Oh, you! Just like pulls them off, leaving like his pants stained with the black tar substance. Just lunges forward and places his hand on the jacket.
Oh! Fuck!
I mean, we're not on the seas yet. War is still on as far as I'm concerned. God, this fucking shit. It leans back at this point. This has been fun, though. I'm serious. You, yeah. If you or the other of anyone else wants to hang out, then by all means, invite them. Maybe do this again. Now this, he sort of like pulls up his hand with the tar substance. This would especially be funny to see what happens with the others.
Mm-hmm.
So what now then?
Fuck it, I gotta piss. I'll be back in a minute. And Halflock's gonna meander off, leaving the door slightly open as he leaves.
Alrighty. Does Havelock come back or no? Oh.
He comes back invisible.
Okay. You come back in invisible. You see at this point, like Iridan's just sort of like still just on the floor, just chilling. So like leans over, looks at the other mushroom, just sort of covers it up with the scraps of cloth. What are you doing,
now I'm
Havelock?
doing this. I would like to do this not as an attack.
Okay.
I would like to summon a tentacle of the deeps directly behind him.
Okay.
It's not gonna go well.
He's just sort of like leans back a bit. There's a bit of movement that he sees out of the corner of his eye. Just like, look, it's like, oh shit, fuck! You just see, like a blur of movement, and you just hear a you just sort of look on the other side of the tentacle. There's a dagger just embedded in the wall.
I'd like this thing to attempt to steal his pants.
Okay, I guess make a grappling check.
I think I've seen something like this before.
Yeah, Peach? Yeah, honey?
I don't know.
With the
It's a little familiar.
So would let's make like a grappling check. So it'd be athletics versus his athletic or acrobatics. Of which he is not. Oh shit, he is not proficient in either. Acrobatics, nope. Yeah, you got his pants.
Oh
Not
my
like proper,
God.
but they're sort of going down.
Havelock's gonna drop his invisibility. Oh, gotcha.
You. Yes, he is kindling.
Not on the ocean yet.
This is gonna be a fun free. These are gonna be a fun 3 days.
I'm gonna be a pain in your ass in more ways than you can think of.
Oh my God.
Trust me, you ain't gonna be the first one. That's what I'm gonna call it for that. Because
Okay, Von Ren.
that was going in a direction.